Hello everyone, my name is Mariya and today I'd like to share with you the list of coziest books for fall that I'm planning to read. I'm not sure if I will get to all of them or if I'll change my mind and read something else, but I just thought I'll share my reading list with you today and maybe we can all contribute to each other's reading lists. Of course, I'm using my notebook, favorite leather notebook, to look up all of them. And the first book that I'd like to share is Great Mischief by Alistair Macleod. And this book is set actually in Canada in early fall, in September. It starts off with this immigrant family. It's like a big clan. There's lots of brothers, sisters, there's a twin brother, twin sister who are the main characters of the story, and they lose their parents, and apparently it leads to a whole chain series of events, which I'm so excited to read about. So I would say I'm really excited about it, and I'm going to read that. Then the next one is a lot more mysterious and spooky because it's by Jennifer MacMahon herself, author of very spooky novels. Like if you read The Winter People, you know what I'm talking about. So The Invited apparently takes place as well in early fall. Starts off with a couple, a former history teacher and a wildlife researcher who move to a small community. They buy a lot of land, so this lot is now standing empty, but they find out that there was a great tragedy that happened many years ago, precisely in 1924, I think, and they're going to investigate what really happened on that land lot. So I'm quite excited to see what is that, like how the story will unfold, and also just because it's by Jennifer MacMahon, I'm anticipating lots of mystery, but mystery that's also woven into reality, so pretty cool. The next one is The Retreat. So The Retreat by Mark Edwards, and this one has, as I understand, haunted house vibes. So there's this writer who is going into a writer's retreat in a remote community. This community is actually close to where he spent his entire childhood, and he finds out that the house that they are staying in, so him and other writers, has a history. A long time ago in this community there was one young girl that disappeared, and that led to another series of events in this community that's hard to explain. So our main character is going to investigate that problem on his own. I'm quite excited to read it. The the book cover is very atmospheric. It looks like it's going to be this mystery and reality type of interaction, so great one. Yeah, and then the next one is Garden Spells. So Garden Spells, as far as book reviews go so far that I've read, it looks like it's also perfect for the early fall when it's still warm-ish. It's apparently there's going to be a story of 3 different women who take care of a garden, and somehow all of their lives intertwine. I'm thinking the book reviews are vague like that on purpose, because I think it might be something along the lines of family saga, and family sagas sometimes are easy to spoil, so yeah, quite excited to see what's in that book. Yeah, then next I think we're moving to slightly more spooky books. So Mirror Lake by Juneau Black. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. As I mentioned in many videos, English is not my first language, correct me. But yeah, so Mirror Lake apparently it's unique because all the main characters are animals, but apparently they're not animals like in kids' fairy tales. They're animals who live through quite mature scenarios. Looks like there will be a murder and investigation of it, and to me it just feels like it has those fall vibes. Looks like the action is going to take place in a forest in October, so on point for fall read. And then the next one, I think it's most well known like fall and October-ish book, Uncle Montague's Tales of Terror by Priestley. So I have only heard about this book quite recently, and you're like, Mariya, every blogger already talked about that. Yes, but I'm a bit slow catching up on different trends. So I've seen the book cover, the illustrations. As some of you know, if you're following me on Instagram, I love illustrations myself. I create illustrations, more like kids vibes, but yeah. And when I saw the Tales of Uncle Montague, I just was like, okay, this is totally fall vibes, and I think in this one I'm more intrigued by illustrations, and I'm pretty sure the story will be on par. So basically, it's about this boy who speaks to his uncle, and his uncle tells him different short stories. So yeah. And then the next one is Midnight at Blackbird Cafe. So this one, I'm suspecting it will be spooky, but not in a like magical or supernatural way, more in like really psychological way. So there's this girl whose grandma dies, and she comes back to the community where her grandma used to live, and she used to keep a cafe, Blackbird Cafe. And even though at first our main character tries to distance herself from this community, she apparently is forced to take part in the community, become more active member. And what's going to happen? What is she going to find out? Apparently we're going to find out a few like family secrets in there. So this to me looks like spooky, but in really internal psychological way. Yeah, and then the next one is The Secret History by Danna Tartt. Yes, I have not read The Secret History just yet. I am planning to do it this fall. If I don't get to it, don't hold it against me. But yeah, Danna Tartt is now well known almost as like a classic of dark academia. Actually, I have lots of thoughts on what dark academia is or is not. I will probably make a different video on that. But yeah, I'm quite excited to read Danna Tartt's The Secret History, because I know there's so many references to it, there's so many young people and older readers who love it, so very curious. And if you have not read The Secret History just yet, like myself, it looks like the action is going to revolve around a university, and there will be a group of students who are learning Greek. And apparently there will be murder, there will be some adventures, and yeah, we'll find out. Yeah, and then the next one is probably the most spooky book, like to my taste, on this entire list. It's called Devil's Aspect by Craig Russell. So, first of all, action takes place in November. It's very rainy. This is what book reviews tell us. And apparently the main characters will be patients of psychiatric unit and a young doctor who arrives to the psychiatric unit to test some of his latest research findings. Also, it all takes place in Prague, I believe, and of all the European cities, I would say like Prague is most like romantic and like romanticized, I would say. Really mysterious. Actually, I have never been there. I want to go one day. If you've been, let me know. So yes, there is this castle, like ancient castle, which is being converted into a psychiatric clinic, and also it looks like there's going to be something special about the patients that are staying there, and I'm excited to find out what exactly is special about them, and what exactly this young aspiring like doctor and researcher has to bring into the story. Yeah, and then the next one is The Silent Companion by Laura Purcell. So I've heard a lot about this book, and also it sounds like it's going to have some of those psychological thriller vibes where the main character is going to question her own sanity, which is something that I find appealing in like psychological thrillers, because it's really interesting how when we read those books we start questioning our own sanity, especially if those books also happen to have unreliable narrators. So looks like the main character is actually a widow who inherits a big mansion, and something unexplained is going is going on in this mansion, and it looks like it's going to have haunted house vibes, but not like fairy tale or, you know, like those spooky short stories haunted house vibes, more like about characters' own vision of like herself and her like her view of the situation. So yeah. And then the last one I want to share is The Only One Left. So this is the newest book, which is only coming out, I believe, this September. So The Only One Left by Riley Sager. You know, I conveniently placed it as last book. So The Only One Left. Yeah, and apparently the story is about this girl who, like, she grows into a woman, and back in 1929, yeah, I wrote that down. So it looks like in 1929, some horrible story is happening in a mansion or in a castle, something like that, and her family dies, and apparently it looks to all of the outsiders that she might be at fault for that, but years later, we're forced to like question this assumption, and there's going to be investigation if it's really her or maybe it's not her. So yeah, and this concludes the TBR, so the list of books that I'm at least planning to read this fall. Like I said, things could change. I will be sharing in like month-to-month wrap-ups, and I'm excited about all those books. If you've read some of them, please let me know. If you haven't, please let me know which ones you are excited about, and let's just, you know, help each other build our perfect fall reading list, because, you know, in the fall, nights are longer, we all have slightly more time to read, especially if some of us are like busy with studying or work or being parents, but still fall is one of those seasons where we potentially gain a bit more time and like in the right mood to read books. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next video.